Finally, you took long enough.
Hey, listen to me. Do what I say. I'll kill them before they kill you. We cool? All right, come on over.
Boss man, we know you got some women back there. Just give us one. We'll take our frustrations out on her.
I got a better idea. Does that hurt?
The detainees are going from a military to a federal facility. The paperwork requires the correct signature.
We can fix the paper with Warden.
Where the are they?
Where are they, goddammit? Cross, reopen block D!
Light up cell block D. I want to be out of here in 15 minutes.
Team 2, respond, Team 2. Team 2, respond. Team 2 has been compromised.
What's the damage?
Terminated.
Whoa.
This guy means business.
Let's go. Why don't we talk? We got a lot in common, you and I. Special Forces, Black Ops, CIA. No, I'm not Special Forces. I was never Special Forces. I was a Marine. Whatever. You talk about being a warrior. How does a warrior break his word of honor?
I'm the bad guy.
And I'm the good guy.
The story begins with two private contractors, Cross, the tactical team leader, and his partner Manning, the heavy hitter. They have been assigned to supervise the shutdown of a secret military prison and the transfer of its high-risk inmates to another facility. However, Manning becomes increasingly frustrated when the transport bus meant to collect the detainees fails to arrive. The delay makes him suspect that something is wrong.
That's the way all these high-flute military pricks is, man. You know that. We the first guys that they piss on.
Their conversation soon catches the attention of the prison warden, who approaches them in obvious frustration. He blames Cross for the administrative confusion and reveals a serious problem. The night before, Cross authorized the reopening of Block D and processed the arrival of two new female high-security prisoners. Because Cross personally approved and handled their intake, the responsibility for those prisoners now falls entirely on him. The warden makes it clear that Cross must also oversee their transfer.
When you signed those two in last night, you took authority over them. That means signing them out would be your job, not mine.
No one will leave the facility until every detainee, including the two new prisoners, passes through the gate and is properly processed for transport. Shortly afterward, a Troy disposal truck enters the facility for its final scheduled trash pickup before the prison closes permanently. Manning is assigned to oversee the garbage collection area, as securing every section of the base is considered a tactical necessity during the facility's final hours. Soon, a prison guard accidentally drops a small, rolled-up piece of paper while walking through the hallway. Another officer finds the note later while serving food to the inmates. However, as he continues distributing the meals, he suddenly notices an inmate brutally attacking a guard and immediately calls for backup. To prevent the other prisoners from taking advantage of the understaffed facility during the transfer operation, Cross intervenes.
Open the courtyard gate. What's the problem, man? What's the problem?
He violently beats the inmate until the situation is under control. Afterward, the guard hands Cross the note he discovered in the hallway. Cross begins examining it and quickly realizes that the supposedly easy task of shutting down the prison might actually be a setup. The message suggests that an attack on the facility is imminent. Meanwhile, outside at the garbage loading area, the disposal truck begins taking in the trash containers. While loading the cans, the truck driver intentionally damages the pressure control button responsible for operating the garbage compactor.
The truck, pull it out. We need to take a look. Pull it out. Get it!
Truck won't disengage.
Manning orders the driver to contact the company so a mechanic can fix the problem. However, the driver casually explains that it is already Friday night and the company mechanic has signed out for the weekend and will not return until Monday.
Friday night. No one's packed out till Monday.
What Manning does not realize is that the driver is part of a larger conspiracy. Hidden inside the garbage truck are heavily armed mercenaries using the vehicle as a covert way to infiltrate the prison. The mercenaries detonate explosives from inside the truck, violently blasting their way out of the garbage container.
Secured? If the MP and the security guard are dead, then yeah.
As the smoke clears, the commander of the group takes charge, ordering his team to sweep the area and kill anyone they encounter on the premises.
Confirm that they're dead.
Here's the window. That's him! Wait, no!
Manning manages to fight back, killing 2 mercenaries before disappearing into the facility. While moving through the compound, he reaches his radio and warns Cross that the prison is under attack. At that moment, Cross is returning to the facility after running an errand outside the prison. Inside the complex, the mercenary leader, Chris Blake, begins executing the next phase of his plan. Blake leads his team deeper into the prison with a specific objective: to capture 2 newly transferred inmates named Samantha Mendez and Charlotte Walker. Samantha is secretly a CIA courier carrying extremely valuable intelligence stored inside a small implant embedded in her body, information that could bring Blake a fortune. He intends to extract that information at any cost. Blake and his men enter the warden's office posing as U.S. Marshals, claiming they have arrived to transport the 2 female inmates to another facility. However, after examining their paperwork, the warden notices that the documents lack the required original signatures. Refusing to violate protocol, he firmly tells them that he cannot release the prisoners without proper authorization.
The detainees are going from a military to a federal facility. The paperwork requires the correct signature.
At the same time, the guard who previously dropped the note reveals his true allegiance. Acting as an inside accomplice, he murders 2 fellow officers and takes control of the prison's control room. However, he soon encounters a major problem. He cannot locate the electronic passkey required to identify the exact cell block where the 2 female inmates are being held.
What's the problem?
Need a password.
With no other options, the mercenaries realize that only the warden can provide the information they need. In a brutal act of intimidation, Blake cuts off one of the warden's fingers to force him to reveal the location of the detainees. Unable to withstand the torture any longer, the warden gives in and reveals the correct block number.
Where are they, goddammit? Cross, reopen block D!
Cell block D. I want to be out of here in 15 minutes.
Just as Blake prepares to move his team toward the cell block, Cross arrives back at the prison complex and ambushes 2 of Blake's mercenaries outside the building.
I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
All right.
Team 2. Respond, Team 2.
Using his brutal combat skills, he violently beats and kills them before pushing his way back into the facility to confront the attackers inside. Cross moves quietly through the prison corridors, using stealth to eliminate Blake's mercenaries one by one. Instead of rushing directly to the cell blocks, he proceeds carefully to avoid being overwhelmed by the mercenaries' superior numbers. Meanwhile, Blake takes Warden Samuels hostage and forces him to cooperate so he can gain access to Samantha. While Cross advances through the shadows, Manning and the small group of men with him fight their own battles across the facility, killing every mercenary they encounter in their effort to regain control of the prison.
Clear. Clear. Dead check.
Eventually, Cross reaches the female inmate's cell block and frees them. As he escorts them out, they suddenly run into 3 hostile inmates who attempt to take out their frustrations on the women.
Hey, boss man. We know you got some women back there. Just give us one. We'll take our frustrations out on her.
Cross is forced into a brutal hand-to-hand fight to stop them. Charlotte reveals her true allegiance. She has been working for Blake all along. She kidnaps Samantha and immediately radios Blake, informing him that she has secured the assets and demanding her payment before their planned extraction.
Collins,
We have the assets. Take out Cross.
rendezvous with Charlotte and get her to the extraction point.
Realizing that Warden is no longer useful, Blake kills him without hesitation. He then scans the chip embedded in Samantha's body, which contains the offshore bank accounts of several corrupt government officials along with all their passwords. As Blake and his mercenaries attempt to move Samantha, they unexpectedly run straight into Cross and Manning's team. Believing he has the advantage in numbers and firepower, Blake briefly confronts them before choosing to flee, forcing Cross to pursue him. At the same time, Manning corners Blake's brutal lieutenant.
I guess we'll find out.
Their fight is savage and relentless, ending when Manning finally impales the lieutenant onto a metal bench as Samantha manages to kill Charlotte herself. The remaining mercenaries, including the corrupt guard who had secretly been working with them, are taken down in brutal hand-to-hand combat as Cross and Manning's team eliminates the last of Blake's forces. Cross eventually catches up with Blake, and the two exchange gunfire until both men run out of ammunition. With no bullets left, Blake tries to manipulate Cross. He reminds him that they share the same background, both of them were once Special Forces soldiers. Blake argues that they should not be fighting each other, claiming that patriotism means nothing anymore. According to him, money is all that matters, and he offers to split the massive fortune he has stolen from Samantha's chip, but Cross refuses the offer. In the end, Cross overpowers Blake and hurls him directly into the prison's laser tripwires, triggering the system and killing him for good. After the fight, Cross reunites with Samantha and Manning. Seeing Manning's combat skills, Cross offers him another mercenary job. However, Manning admits that he is getting older and growing tired of a life filled with violence. He says he would rather die of old age someday than be killed during another mission. Cross responds with a cold truth: a mercenary will always remain a mercenary. For men like them, the fight is never truly over, at least not until they are dead. Subscribe for more dramas like this, and don't forget to like this video, it really helps the channel grow.